Hi, this is William from the Godzilla Files coming at you today with another review, and today we're going to be looking at the PlayStation 4 exclusive City Shrouded in Shadow, one of my favorite games right now. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, this game has blown me away. I've enjoyed every minute that I've had with it. I've already beaten it once, beat it in about 3 days. Pretty much been playing it non-stop. This is definitely a big love letter to the fans of these properties, and you definitely owe it to yourself to try to find a copy of this game if you can. So as you probably already guessed, I really like this game. So let's talk about some of the things that I really liked. The first thing I'm going to say is I really liked how the properties were treated in this game. I felt that no one property was more important. I think each one had their time to shine. I think if you're a fan, you're going to find something that you really like about this game. I really liked seeing Gamera again. You know, I didn't think he was going to be a favorite part of mine, but I really enjoyed his levels. It does make me wish that maybe he would show up more in other medias. You know, I think he deserves a comeback in some way, so hopefully this is kind of the start of that. Ultraman was another one that I really didn't know too much about, but after this game has now made me kind of want to start watching it and seeing what it's all about. You know, I know there's a lot of fans, especially in some of my other Godzilla groups. I don't know too much, so I'm gonna kind of start from square one and start watching some of his old series. What's there to say about Godzilla? One of my favorite properties. I think he's treated nicely here. It was cool, you know, trying to survive a level with him fighting Ghidorah and other kaijus from his series. And finally, my favorite anime made an appearance in Evangelion. You know, that was great. I've never played a game with Evangelion in it, so that was really cool. I like that your story revolved around parts of movies from each one of their series. So Gamera's levels follow very closely the first Heisei film and also the second one. Godzilla is definitely more of a Heisei period Godzilla, especially with King Ghidorah. You will also see Mothra and Batra fighting each other, so that's kind of that's cool to see. So it's not all just Godzilla. Evangelion is more based off the Rebuild series of movies, which is fine. I really like those. Can't wait for the last one. Really want that soon. You know, these are all recognizable scenes from these series, and you know they're put together through the story, and you're kind of being able to watch from, you know, as just a normal person. And that's the biggest thing about this movie, about this game that I really like, is that you are just a normal person. You know, you're not one of those monsters attacking the city. And that's a cool concept. You know, I love those old Godzilla games like Save the Earth and even Godzilla on the PlayStation 4 when you're controlling the monsters. Love that concept. But this one's so much more interesting. Trying to survive, you know, your city being destroyed, or even it's just a couple of blocks. You know, what are you going to do? Like, it makes you feel like you're one of those people that you see in those films running away. And it's something that they do very well. You know, the size of the monsters as they fight comparatively to you, you know, you feel so small. And they do affect the area, so that's something I really like. And as you're going through these areas, they're not just empty areas. You have other people running away. There's even side missions for you to take part in, which I like. This gives more life to your city, in my opinion. You know, having those side missions, while they might never amount to too much or might affect the story all that too much, it's still interesting because, you know, you're not the only person whose lives are being affected by these monsters. You know, I can't talk too much about the story, only because all of it's in Japanese and there are no options for English subtitles. But it seems like most of it just is, you know, there's something special about you and your girlfriend, and you're trying to survive Kuza along with these monsters. You know, it's a crazy story. You know, it's a little over the top in parts, but I liked it. You know, 1 minute I could be on a boat trying to survive Godzilla. The next I am on a horse running away from, you know, the Legion plant that's about to explode. You know, it's only in Japanese video gaming that you can actually get something like this. I really liked a lot of that stuff. Now, some of the things I didn't like, you know, or that I had issues with. One of the first issue that I have with the game, and it's probably the biggest issue, is the frame rate drops. Now, there was an update about 2 nights ago, and it seems to have helped a little bit, but, you know, until I can kind of say for sure, I'm still going to bring this up. the frame rate is an issue. You know, when you're running away and cars are exploding around you, or you know the monsters are moving forward and you have to kind of get away from them, it's hard when all of a sudden you're going as slow as a snail and they're going just as fast. So all of a sudden you're just going to get stepped on, or something's going to explode and you're not going to be able to get away from it. The parts are hard enough to some extent. We shouldn't make it harder. The other piece to this, and you know, some of these issues that I had are more because the game is in full Japanese. So you know, the controls were a little difficult. I don't know if anyone's ever played Final Fantasy VII. I'm sure most of you have, but on the original PlayStation 1 game, O was the main button to hit enter. You know, it worked as the X button, and this is the same case. So it's hard. You know, there's not too many games that do that. This is one of them, so that was kind of hard. And also just, it's a hybrid of the tank controls from like Resident Evil. You know, you gotta just kind of be aware of that. Never to the situation, it was never as bad to the point where they were getting me killed or anything like that. Like, I never had that issue. Another thing is, you know, as I mentioned, you know, the game is in full Japanese. This isn't so much an issue, but it does take away from the fact that this is a very decision-based game, so there's a lot of choices to be made. You know, some of them, not that crazy. You know, you want to change your hair, you want to change your clothes, you know, whatever you want to do, you can do all that, which is really great. The customization in this game and the stuff that you can buy and wear, I love it. It's great. But in-game, when you have to make choices, it becomes a little bit more difficult. I had to play the game with a Google Translator on my phone, and I would take the photo of the screen and it would translate. So I'd get some kind of idea what was being said. Now, this game is fully in Japanese, and I was fully aware of that before going through, so this is why it's not that high on my list of complaints. I knew what I was getting into. For the most part, you understand that the top two options are usually the best, and the bottom options can kind of range from over the top or being a jerk. And, you know, I think those things, you know, those decisions, yes, are important, but they don't make or break the game. There's never a decision that's going to, I think, change the ending fully. It's just the way people are going to perceive you, so it's not that big of a deal. Another thing that I heard people kind of complaining about are the graphics. You know, people always like to compare them to PlayStation 2 graphics. I don't think people realize how PlayStation 2 graphics look nowadays. I think people kind of forget. This game does not look like a PlayStation 2 game. This game started its life on the PlayStation Vita, so yes, the graphics might not be what you're expecting from, let's say, like a AAA title, like Uncharted, but it was never going to be that. And overall, the graphics are good. You know, graphics don't make the game fully. It does help, but there's so much more to this game. You know, I can let the graphics pass a little bit. It's never so bad. I think the monsters look really good. At the end of the day, with these slight issues and problems, maybe other than the frame rate being the biggest, I would still recommend this game. You know, it's so much fun to play. You're not going to be disappointed. You can still pick this game up on a lot of websites, and I got mine on eBay. You know, it comes from Japan, so just understand, you know, shipping might be a little bit more expensive, and the game is in full Japanese. Nothing you can do about that. There are no English subtitles, so I would strongly, like I said, strongly recommend picking up if you're a fan. You really can't go wrong. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the clips here. You know, I tried to find different parts of the game, not just one area. And yeah, I will talk to everyone later.